Well, fall activities at apple orchards and pumpkin patches are big business in our state, but the biggest and most popular attraction just may be the corn maze.
It's a little known fact that a forward-thinking Minnesotan is responsible for introducing it to our part of the country. Not only was Seaver Peterson the first, but you also voted him the best. Bill Hudson tells us the story of a pioneering spirit behind Seaver's Fall Festival in Shakopee.
To stand in the middle of a cornfield on a windy autumn day can be a bit unsettling. You can hear the sound of a million corn plants whispering something in the wind, towering over you as you lose all sense of direction. Seeing those guys disappear into the cornfield doesn't help matters any.
I'm melting!
What if we made a maze? So it would make a great story if Seaver Peterson got his idea to make Minnesota's first corn maze from whispering corn stalks, but
back in 1997, we had exchange students from England who'd been telling my in-laws, Seaver and Sharon Peterson, about the labyrinth mazes of Europe and specifically England. And Seaver said, well, why not do that out of corn?
Which is still a pretty good story.
And they did it. His farming friends and family thought he was crazy to think that people were going to actually choose to come out and walk through a field of corn.
But much like Galileo and Einstein, history would prove Seaver Peterson right.
And that's how it all got started. And here we are 22 years later.
And 22 corn mazes later, selling autumn has become a huge business with dozens of corn mazes all over Minnesota. But Seaver's is much more than just a corn maze.
Now we very much are a fall festival.
If you were wondering just what makes up a fall festival,
we have jumping pillows, 2 corn pits, one of which has play structures in it. We've got a massive exotic petting zoo. We've got magic shows.
Nicola Peterson knows the list of offerings by heart because she's been part of this operation from the get-go. This is her working on one of the first corn mazes back in the 90s. And this photo is with her then-boyfriend, Aaron Peterson. And in keeping with the Peterson tradition, this place is very much a family affair.
His family's been farming along the Minnesota River Valley since the 1890s. Seaver's actually the 3rd generation. My husband is the 4th.
With the goal of keeping their fall festival fresh, the 5th generation of Petersons are already playing an important role.
A lot of the inspiration at this point in our lives is coming from our own children. So now we're looking to them on what they want to see, what they'd like to do.
This year's corn maze theme is Under the Sea, still mapped out, planted, and cultivated by hand.
There are some dead ends in there. It's actually quite funny because the children seem to be better at orienteering the maze than the parents do.
So if you get turned around at Seaver's corn maze, don't listen to the corn.
Insider tip, follow your kids.
It's the best corn maze in Minnesota.